all of these black public figures have the power to stand in numbers to support this brother, but have continued to do otherwise. So when it comes to Russell Simmons, I understand partially why he was upset at the fact that he felt like Mike Tomlin took a cowardly role in what he was doing by eliminating himself for the situation, period. But then for Russell Simmons to just publicly down that man, like, that was you ignited the racist shit to be said. Partially, he played a part in it. Because my thing is that, see, white people look at it like this. Well, shit, if the black man is mad at him too, at his own race, hell, why am I not wrong for being mad? See, my thing is that, why we can't have just conversations? Call the brother up, reach out to the brother, and say, hey man, you could have handled that. You could have handled that situation better. But I don't see non-African American public figures down each other that bad, outside of, like, you know, politics and shit. But when it comes to something like that, when people are trying to stand for something or to handle a public situation like that, we just take it to social media. I mean, like, I've said this before. You all swore up and down that Usher had herpes. You believe this 300-pound beastly woman slept with Usher and got herpes? Like, really? You all think in 2017 that R. Kelly is holding women hostages like it's the fucking movie Saw? Black people jump and this whole stupid ass black Twitter shit. Like, I thought the shit was kind of cool, but we're just doing nothing but adding to the Willie Lynch syndrome. I'm all for joking, and I'm all for joning and joking and talking shit, because humor is part of life. But when we publicly drag each other like the way we do, we drag our public figures like the way we do, I'm utterly confused at why it's so acceptable. I don't get it. That shit has to stop. So I've said it on social media, I said fuck Russell Simmons. I still feel the same way, because I still feel that his power and his position, he could have handled that situation better instead of publicly dragging that man like that. You could have reached out to him and called that man. I mean, I didn't see Malcolm X tell Martin Luther King publicly that his turn the other cheek nonviolent protests was some bitch shit. I mean, if y'all don't understand, that's what Russell Simmons said about Mike Tomlin. Come on, man, you don't embarrass another brother like that, especially the racial tension that's going on. Because once they know we're divided, that's room for them to step in and they say, hey, that shows a sign of vulnerability. And we've given them that, and that's just the dumbest thing ever. We got to do better when it comes to stuff like that, when we, instead of publicly slaying each other in the media, man. It's bad. But I wanted to end that on this note and say, well, I'm going to leave the phone lines open still. I'm sorry. Phone lines are definitely open. I would love to hear from you all. How do you feel about this NFL boycott, protest, all that's going on, Kaepernick? Call in. Don't be scared to call in. I would love to hear from you. 470-358-5782. Once again, phone lines are open right now. 470-358-5782. One last time. 470-358-5782. I would love to hear from you all. What's your take on this subject? Because I really feel that we are losing focus on why Kaepernick even took a stand, and why we and who should really be taking a stand against the situation. Phone lines are definitely open. I would love to hear from you all. Definitely call in. Let's talk about it. You know, and this is Thursday, man. You tune in. Once again, you tuned in live right here on the Man Cave Show, WSLC Fusion Radio. And like I said, I made an announcement earlier. Phone lines are open. Other announcement is the Man Cave Show is back on Thursdays and Saturdays starting next week. Okay? But Thursdays and Saturdays will be our roundtable discussion where we'll be talking about stuff like this live and direct. Live and direct, we'll be talking about this, all right? So right now, man, I'm gonna get into one of my favorite songs I haven't heard in a long time. Old School. So well, I got a phone call. Hold on, let's see who's this. Caller, state your name. What you know you're calling in live right here on the Man Cave Show, WSLC. Who's this?
This is Jennifer.
Jen, what's up, Jen?
What's happening, darling?
What's going on? This my Falcon fan, Jennifer.
Of course, always and forever.
Oh, rise up, goddammit, rise up, I guess. What's on your mind, baby?
I just wanted to mention, I don't know if you saw it or not, where Montel Williams was on an interview for a morning show in New York.
Uh-huh.
And he spoke on how he felt about the boycott or what Colin Kaepernick was doing.
Okay.
And he made a valid point. You know, he fought in the war.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why he stands up and honors the flag is because that's what he was taught to do while he was in the military.
Mm-hmm.
However, he said when he fought in those wars, he also fought for people to have the right to do what Colin Kaepernick did.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, I agree with you, a lot of people are losing focus on what this is really about. This has nothing to do with the flag.
Yep.
And if you stop and really think about it, kneeling is a way of showing reverence.
Yep.
Or it's a way of showing respect, but it's also a way of them standing out and and proving a point. I mean, I could understand if they were standing around talking, laughing, high-fiving each other, and doing all kind of coonery, as you call it. But I mean, kneeling is a point of reverence. When people in England, they kneel and curtsy for the Queen. Yep. As a point of reverence to the Queen of England. So I think they, when they were kneeling, they meant to show respect, but they also meant to show protest. But right. People are so wrapped up in trying to find something wrong with it. If we as a people protest by throwing rocks, breaking windows, vandalizing stuff, stealing Nike shoes and TVs, it's all over TV.
Yep.
Oh, look at them, they acting crazy, they acting like monkeys in the zoo.
Yep.
And if we just kneel, mm-hmm. they have something to say. Mm-hmm. And that should say even more than anything else could ever say. No matter what we do or how we protest, something is always going to be said and viewed as negative.
And you know what? Trevor Noah said the same thing on his show. He was saying, what is the right way for black people to protest? You can't protest like this. You can't protest like that. What is the right way to do it? And it makes so much sense. And I think that I think the one thing that we've missed is that I personally feel, and this is my strong opinion, I think we should have held the players accountable. Because let me tell you why. And I told you why already, but let me tell you another reason why. If this was a police officer situation, if the police officers was feeling some kind of way and they decided to protest and say, hey, we're not gonna serve and protect our community, right? You know, that's like a brotherhood. That shit is like a gang. Like, they're going to stand by each other. And so my thing is, and these guys are making less than 6 figures a year. And this is a brand of brotherhood. But we talking about NFL players who are making 6 figures plus and can't take away from one fucking game. I'm telling you, the players would have made a bigger impact by not showing up to play. Because
too much money. It's too much money involved.
But here's the thing. But look at this. It's what's more important, human life.
Human life is much more important. But okay, so
Jennifer, if you're a black man, the NFL is 70% African American, right?
Okay.
Whether you're poor or rich in the NFL, when I say NFL poor, if you're making league minimum is like $138,000 a year, maybe. I think it increased to like $240,000 a year. You're still making more than the average household. And if you're a black man, you're making more than what the average African American household makes. Now, if you can't sit out one game would have impacted and made our point be known. Real simple. When teachers wanted to boycott and protest, you know what they fucking did? They stopped teaching. When they felt they wasn't getting paid and they felt there was injustices in the teachers community, they stopped teaching. You understand what I'm saying? If you're black, poor or rich as an entertainer or athlete, if you still get pulled over, you still a nigga in a fancy car. You still a rich nigga, no matter what you look at it. So why not take a stand and say, hey, we're not going for it no more. We're not asking to be treated like pieces of shit no more. Ben Roethlisberger could go in the fucking in Wild Bills here in Atlanta, rape a chick in the club, and win a fucking Super Bowl in January.
And everybody be fine with it.
Everybody was fine with it. But a black man takes a stand.
One of the Atlanta Falcons raped 2 girls in his house.
And one of them was dead.
And, I mean, he played ball that following Sunday. They found her dead Friday. He played Monday.
You see what I'm saying?
Or Sunday. I mean, it's not okay to kneel. It's not okay to kneel. And I can guarantee you, if a white man was having a dog fighting ring somewhere in Alabama somewhere, and they found out, he would not be treated like Michael Vick was treated.
Facts.
So many people have beat women in the NFL, done all this other stuff in the NFL, and the NFL just started getting to a point where they will punish people for doing this, but they're only really punishing the black players. So if you want to be perfectly honest about the entire situation, NFL is not going to do anything about anything.
Yep.
Until it, and like you said, until it starts affecting their pocketbooks.
That's it. You hit them pockets, I guarantee them NFL owners would have been on their knees a long damn time ago. But if you pouring in, I mean, hell, fans can come to the empty arena. We make 70% of the NFL. Nobody wants to see a bunch of slow ass white boys play football. Come on, let's just be honest.
No, I know I don't. I'm sitting here watching your Bears get run over.
See, don't do that shit, because that's how I'm going to hang up on your ass. What's the score anyway?
It's 21-0.
Okay. Thank you for calling. Have a good night.
Have a great night.
Man, y'all know I love my Bears, man. Don't do me like that, man. I know we getting our ass. Well, we having a rough season. We beat Pittsburgh last week. That's all that matters. It should have came out that goddamn locker room. They might have had a chance. Nah, I'm joking, man. We cutting it down to the last, man, a little bit of the show, man. I want to get into, like I said, I'm going to cut it into right now. So every show, I'm in Atlanta. I'm born and raised in Chicago, but I got love for ATL music. I don't like the Falcons, though, so stop trying to get me to like the Falcons. Shout out to all my Falcon fans listening. But I love y'all city.